Welcome back to Age of Vikings in Foundry VTT. Today we're going to look at how to make skill rolls. We'll be looking at it from the GM's view, but there will be a few differences from the player's perspective which we'll call out. So we've got Gunner's character sheet open on the Skills tab. To make a basic or unopposed roll, we simply click on the relevant skill percentage score. Gunner is going to try and make a climb roll. Having clicked the score, I get a dialog box where I can enter a bonus. In this case, I'm going to enter -10 as a penalty. If I were to close the box without clicking on the roll dice button, the roll won't progress. But in this case, I will click roll dice. I'm using Dice So Nice, so we'll see the dice roll, and as you can see, a chat message has appeared. The chat card shows us the type of roll, in this case unopposed, an image of the participant to the roll, their name, the skill, and the target score. So here, Gunner had a climb of 74, we put a -10 adjustment on, so we had a target score of 64. Underneath that, we see the result, in this case a success. We rolled 49, and the single green axe just shows us it's a success. If it were a failure, we'd see a red skull. If it was a fumble, we'd see 2 red skulls, and if it was a critical success, we'd see 2 green axes. We can also get a little bit more information by clicking on this success bar. If you're the GM or the player who owns the character, you'll then see some extra information, in this case the raw skill score, the bonus or penalty we applied, any encumbrance penalty, the dice rolled, and then the total dice. In certain circumstances there may be bonuses to the dice roll, and we can click on it again just to hide it. If I wanted to make another roll but without the dialog box, I simply hold the shift key and click climb again. In this case, we can see the dice have rolled, and then we get the chat card. There's no adjustment being made, no bonus or penalty. To make an opposed roll, we hold the Alt key while clicking the skills score. So in this case, Gunner and Sven are both racing in a climb up a cliff. So I'll hold the Alt key and I'll click Gunner's score. You can see we get the dialog box as before, but in this case I'm just going to click roll dice. Because we didn't have an open opposed chat card, a new one's created. We see very similar information to the normal unopposed rolls, but it's telling us this is an opposed roll. But there are 3 extra icons. Now these icons aren't visible to players, they're for the GM only. Clicking on the little cross will remove this participant from the card. Close the card will close it without resolving it, without making any dice rolls. Or we can click resolve the card. Now if I do this now, you'll see I get a warning message up the top saying there needs to be 2 participants to the roll, so nothing's happened. Let's add a second participant to the roll. Sven is also making the climb, so I'll open his sheet, but I don't want to apply any adjustments, so I'm going to hold the shift key while I hold Alt, and we'll click on climb. Now you can see Sven's been added to the same card because there's already one open. If I try to add another participant, and I'll do it with Sven's ski skill, you'll see I get a warning message again saying I've reached the maximum number of participants and no extra skills being added. So to make the rolls, the GM has to click the resolve card button. We do that and you can see 2 sets of dice are rolled. Both people failed their rolls, and so it shows the 2, and again you can expand and close them. If one of them had succeeded, we'd see a winner roll. So let's quickly start another role. We'll do the same, but this time I'm going to delete Gunner. So his role's been removed, and I can add him back in. Shift Alt, click his skill score, and I can make the roll. In this case, Sven made a critical success, and I should have said before it was 3 axes, you see, for critical, not 2. Although Gunnar made a success, because Sven's success level is greater than Gunnar's, he still wins. The third type of roll we can make is an augmented roll. So, in this case, Sven is trying to win an argument at the ting and is using his orate skill. As it's a legal matter being discussed, Gunnar is going to augment that with his law skill. So as Sven is the main participant, we're going to make his roll first, and we hold Control while we click on the orate skill. We get the dialog box. I'm not going to add a bonus, just put the roll type. And as you can see, it's an augment roll. Sven is listed, but it's showing him as the main roll. But otherwise it looks very similar to an opposed card. I'm now going to click on Gunnar's law skill, and I'm going to hold Shift at the same time, and we can see he's now been added, and it's showing him as an augment. I go and click the resolve card, and both dice rolls are made. Now we can see that Gunnar has succeeded in his roll, and if I expand the roll, it sees that he's going to be granting a 20% bonus to augmentation. If we then expand Sven, we can see that his target score is 75. That's his base score of 55 from the skill, plus Gunnar's 20% bonus being granted. However, Sven rolled 88 and it's still a fail. Prior to version 13.26 of Age of Vikings in Foundry, you could only have one person added to an augmented roll, but since then you can add 5 other people. It's also worth noting these hand icons. One has popped up on Gunnar's skill by law. What this means is he's used this skill in an augment roll, which will stop him doing it in another augment roll. We can clear that by simply clicking on the skill, and clicking in the blank space will toggle that augment check back on. The GM can clear all the augment rolls from the GM tool and then click on the reset all passion skill and used augments, and you can see they're all removed. So that covers all the skill rolls. One last thing to note is if you do hover over the skill score, you'll get a tooltip which will show you the keys that you need to hold to make the different rolls. That's it for now. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks a lot.